Well, hello. Hi, Soph.
Hi.
Today, we are in Cornwall. And depending on when videos come out, we've been very busy in Cornwall.
Yeah.
But for today, well, it wouldn't be Phoenix history if we didn't do at least one World War II bombing decoy site, namely a Starfish site. And we're in a very interesting one, a very beautiful one. Apologise for the wind, by the way, if it comes out. We're in a glorious farmer's field, and I'm going to tell you all about it on the other side. Let's explore it. Yeah. Come on. Well, everybody, welcome back. I think this is quite a cute little one.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to talk to you about it, and I was going to take you around what is left. I apologise for the wind, didn't bring a wind muff on this one. Really sorry about that, so can't really do much on this occasion. But hopefully you'll appreciate the effort and research that's gone into this so we can do it. So let me take you around. So if you are familiar with my channel, then welcome back. Hello, thank you so much for staying with us and seeing another bombing decoy site. Whether you are bored of it or not is purely up to you. But this is a bombing decoy site at Colin, I think it's called, or Colin. I do apologise. Bless old, you can tell we're from Kent. Bless old people from Cornwall. Your pronunciations and names just really baffle me, but in a beautiful and majestic way, and I really mean that. They're such beautiful names, I just wish I could pronounce them. Much like most languages, I seem to sort of like always struggle with. So let's get back to it. This was built to deflect enemy bombing from the Royal Air Force at St Eval, or Eval, Eval, we're going to call it. And it was a Q type, which obviously for most of you meant that was for nighttime operations. And what that means was it was meant to deflect from basically bombing RAF Eval. We'll call it that, please. If you're from Cornwall, I'm so sorry if I've got that wrong. It's EVAL. Eval? Eval? Evil. It was not evil. I keep saying evil, be annoying it. But it was used to deflect from that. So how would they do it? Well, obviously it's a Q type, which means it was night time. So the idea was that you're simulating what the airfield would have looked like under a potential attack, so that the German bombers who are flying over are going to hit you rather than hitting the RAF field itself. And so what you normally get is you get a simulation of lights, which are normally in these sort of baskets, which get triggered off, and basically you're exposed, really. We are sort of on the bottom of a massive hill full of rural farmland, and what we can say on this one is that we know exactly, because we've seen a couple of these before. Now I'm going to say Camber Castle, if you want to type that one in, is exactly the same model. We know that I'm going to go really geeky on people here. We know that obviously we've seen so many bombing decoys. Most of them would be the rectangular sort of like concrete, sort of like brick concrete top condition. Then you get your really early, pre-early Starfish sites, which looks like mini generator blocks. That's for another story for another day. We're not actually covered in them really. And then you've got your, what we would refer to as this type of Starfish bombing decoy site. Which obviously in this case, like I said, Camber's the first one that appeals to me in terms of memory wise. There is also another one which is Oh, it's in Kent I did, and it is, what's the RAF? Near Thanet. Is it? Oh God, my brain's gone. What's the airport at Thanet called? Manston. Thank you very much, Soph. I looked in her beautiful eyes and she gave me inspiration. RAF Manston, we did a bomb and decoy from that, which is also the same design as well. Let me show you, if Sophie's standing there in her wonderful gaze, she would be roughly situated within what would be looking like a Nissan hut. So you can see this oval shape here. This oval shape denominates that this would have been corrugated, much like an Anderson shelter. So situated in the heart of that, which would have been the command post on this one to operate. As she would have walked out, that would have also been the outlet of it. And then you can see some steps. So predominantly you're in a little bunker. That's your blast wall, believe it or not. And then, as you can see for her, for context, hopefully it's all coming out and you can hear me. Obviously, for context, where she's standing now, you can see she's on the outer edge of it. She would have had to have tucked in a little bit, but that's your entrance coming through that way. You're in there, and then behind Sophie, it's actually remarkably, because we see a lot of this. In fact, oh, there is another one I did in Hampshire. My brain's starting to kick in, where actually we did see the corrugated outline of this shape. Then you can walk in, and then you've got really the highlight of this, which is, yes, if you're familiar with the channel and you've seen these are our generator plimps, and they would have been to mainly help with anything electrical. And in most decoy sites, it would have been, we start off by basic stuff, which would have been telephones for communication, where would have been taken place in here, and anything else like that. To set the fires, normally they would have just been ignited by like a little fuse, like in these sort of wicker baskets, for example, made of paraffin. And the idea is, like I said, they're there to simulate the airfield that would have potentially been attacked. So and also to simulate lights of the airfield, etc., etc. I've talked about it so much on the channel, so I'm aware that some of you might not have seen it, so I'm trying to fill you in as best as possible. If we look from the outside of this one, we've also got a blast corridor which separates between the command post and the generator itself. Because you've got to imagine, these generators are going to be really, really loud. And they're going to be very, very noisy. And we also know that, rule of thumb, everybody, pipes going to the ground normally denominate electrical. Pipes going to the top normally denominate, not all the time, I just want to say that just in case I get any people having a go at me, normally denominate air vents or something of that type. But normally electrical, anything electrical, we're sort of like lower level. And then top, it's normally sort of vents or similar to that sort of thing. You've got to imagine that these generators going off are going to release a lot of diesel fumes, petrol. They need to be vented out somehow. Only way to do that is vent holes. And like I said, if we go through to our command base here, you would have had maybe a telephone or two, which would have been signals to sort of situate the idea that, letting you know that the Germans are on their way. Let's set fire to these, let's illuminate the airfield to hopefully deflect, and that's it. And then what we can see is some, just basically some extra rubble here. In a strange way, it's actually quite good condition, but it's also, it's very typical of this type of decoy site where the corrugated metal has gone. That's either been poached by the farmer or poached by other people, and then what you're left with is anything really predominantly concrete. And so actually it's up to our imaginations to try and fill in as best as possible what's left. But obviously, as I said before, all you have to do on my channel, everybody, is type in Starfish Decoy Sites or World War II bombing decoy sites. It is the most amount of type that I've done on this channel. So yeah, you'll see lots of them and you'll see lots of variations. Even Sophie, the wonderful Sophie over there, has recorded a couple with me as well, haven't you? She said yes. You wouldn't have heard that. She said yes. I just want to also, whilst we're here, because what's really great about this as well, not uncommon on the same token, is that what we can normally do is we can get dates for the operation of when it started and when it finished. And in this case, the site opened in 1942. In fact, it was the 12th of August 1942. And there was also, then it sort of ceased operation in 1944. And obviously, as we know, there was also one on Trelo Down and Trigonifer Down, I think. Sophie and me, we'd laugh when we're in Cornwall. I love your beautiful words, I really do, but I would be damned if I can say any of them. So apologising for butchering those. But in other words, there was a couple more decoy sites to also help with the deflection of potentially stopping from hitting that RAF base. And as I've said a million times before, and I've always got to take into consideration, you guys haven't seen my channel, that I think these are the most unsung heroes of World War II, because the idea is that in essence you're encouraging the Germans to bomb you. You're basically saying, come here and bomb us instead, let's not bomb anything else, civil or otherwise, or military. Like I said, again, in bombing sites you have civil decoys as well. I don't really want to go too far out of my thing with this, but in this case this was to deflect from RAF Eval. Yeah. Again, sorry for pronunciation. And like I said, the idea was you'd have like a massive trough of oil, or petroleum, sorry, and then obviously you're just going to burn that off in some wicker baskets. And obviously it needs to be in the middle of nowhere. What a better place to do that here, so that you're not, if the Germans do bomb, you're not really going to do any damage, however, except if you are here. Sophie, however, actually, your claim to fame, actually, is that Sophie joined me on one of the first ever decoy sites, or standard decoy sites in
Wiltshire?
Yeah.
Wiltshire?
Where namely in Wiltshire? Mendips.
That's it.
Which is a series of them there, but we visited one of them, which was right next to a Z rocket battery as well that was there. Mm-hmm. And I think they had 3 generators in it. It's quite a hefty one, that. But the point was that we visited one of the very first ones of its type that got used. So like I said, the debate has always been how effective they are. The fact of the matter is, for me, argue amongst yourselves of how effective they were. The point was they served the purpose to save people's lives, to bomb out in the middle of these fields so that the Germans couldn't. Effective or not, totally up for debate. Right, we're going to have one more look round, because I've realised that it might be mostly on me and showing other people around. I think we've covered everything. Generator room, command post, blast walls, everything else. Thoughts and feelings.
It's cute, isn't it?
It's cute. It's probably the right way to say it. Cute as World War II can be in their terminology, but yeah.
In fact, it's still got quite a few segments still in place. It's pretty good.
I agree.
Well done, Farmer.
Yeah, well done, Farmer. And also, like I said, when I'm talking, because this is your first type of one like this.
Yes.
Decoy site. So it's normally been to what we'd refer to as probably the standard ones, or the more common ones. Like I said, the rectangular block decoy sites.
This has got some funky shapes.
This has got some funky shapes, yeah, beautiful. Okay, everybody, let me just take you around and let's go say goodbye after. Well, we're done. Not much to do, but we're done.
We're done.
Thank you so much for watching. I know that I try my best to give you as much explanation on these, but I'm also aware that some of you have seen so many of these, you're probably bored of them now. So I do apologise, but we're in Cornwall. It'd be rude not to do another county's decoy site, because we've pretty much done a lot of them in every other one. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for both of us for supporting us, and obviously the Paul who's back in Kent. Obviously, if you didn't know, if you're first new to this channel, we are from Kent, so we've travelled especially down to Cornwall to do some amazing sites
for holiday.
No
day trip.
Not day trip. Yeah, we're not here for one day. We're here to cover a few different things, variety and stuff, which I'm sure you've probably seen as we film. But I'm sure there's also going to be maybe some World War II history buffs who are going to be like, you missed this out and you missed this out. The most important thing was we gave you the dates, we gave you the reason why, and we gave you the background story. Anything else you can fill in if you feel to, but obviously, like I said, we've done a lot of these. It's through your support and your encouragement that really gives us hope to keep going and doing what we're doing. Check out Sophie's Instagram page in the link below, and thank you so much for your time, patience and wonderful kindness for the support that you give us. Sophie, anything else you'd like to say?
No, just like, subscribe and drop us a nice comment.
Yeah, take care everybody. No more words to finish history, because history matters. Yes, it does. does today. Really rare. And for the people who served here, who are in that range, wow, incredible stories. Take care. Much love to all of you out there. You ready? Kapow.